So, my mother-in-law, she wants to get rid of my baby. Why? Because it's a baby that I had from my previous relationship, and she thinks that this kid cannot be in her family because, well, it's not blood related to her. Guys, you won't believe what she attempted to do to my little girl.
Hey guys, I think it's a waste to give people a chance in the belief that they might change, but I think they either become worse or it's too late to change for the better. Most of the time, the former is true for the majority of people. And my mother-in-law Martha also falls into this category. Hey, my name's Leah. I married my husband Josh and have 2 children with him, Cole and Chloe. But there's also a third one, Jessie, my firstborn. She's my daughter from my late ex-husband Michael, who passed away due to an incurable disease. He made a promise to me to stay happy and live my life to the fullest, and even after his death, it was hard for me to keep his promise. His only last memento was Jessie. I dedicated my life to her, and seeing her grow up made me learn that life doesn't stop for anyone, nor should I, so I started working on myself. I gave time for self-care, growing my career prospects and improving my mental health, and just parenting Jessie. While doing all that, I realized what it meant to live my life. In that process, I came across Josh. He was my yoga instructor and was his part-time job. But now he was a full-time job as a company manager, which did take up a lot of his time. Coming across Josh made me feel complete after so long. Though I did miss Michael, Josh has always been very supportive, so I was finally able to move on. He was really caring for Jessie, and that was the only thing that convinced me to marry him, as she started perceiving him as her father. She was so little when Michael passed away, and she had forgotten him long ago. This is my second marriage, and we're blessed with Chloe and Cole. We're a happy family now, but I am not so happy anymore, which is why I turned up on this platform. The reason is Martha, who actually gave me second thoughts about marrying Josh after 7 years. Josh has gone through a rough phase that pulled him into yoga and self-care. His mom always kept taunting him for spending his old age alone after his first wife left. He was more than happy to introduce me to her so that her taunting would finally stop. Well, except they didn't. Rather, they were just directed towards me and my innocent daughter. Jessie, only if I had known before. But if you were in my place, you would look out for potential causes of trouble that could occur, or would you let them pass just to hope for a positive future? Have I done the wrong thing by ignoring her resentment towards Jessie? Please, let me know, guys. So, returning to the point, I was ready to move on by giving myself a second chance. To move into the next stage of our relationship, and Josh decided to introduce me to his family. He had a family lunch to which he invited his sister's family, who was married as well. He has only had these 2 since his father passed away, and his relations with his dad's side of the family were distant because they all lived in Germany. I was excited to meet Josh's family, and I was confident because I knew from Josh how much his mom wanted him to be married. She greeted me really warmly, and I introduced her to Jessie, and honestly, I did not see any bad vibes coming from Martha. She greeted Jessie as well. And see, Jessie is a shy girl, so their limited interaction was not something to be concerned about. His sister Sasha was a little late as she was pregnant at the time. Seeing her daughter, Martha wished that soon she would also get to see her grandchildren. I noticed the tears brimming in her eyes, and all of a sudden everybody went silent. The atmosphere turned a little gloomy and tense, and I had no idea what happened. Thankfully, Jessie spilled the sauce on her dress, and everybody got distracted. See, Martha just shook herself from some distant memory, and Sasha was comforted by her husband, who advised her to think of happy things. And Josh was just busy taking care of Jessie. I was quite curious, but since it was my first meeting, I was a little unsure of how to address the sensitive question to anybody. So I let it go, thinking I would just learn about it later. Well, seeing Jessie develop her bond with Josh, I offered to Martha that she needed to worry after all. You know, Jessie will be her granddaughter, and Sasha will also have her own baby soon. Martha agreed, though she did not address the mention of Jessie. When the wedding dates were finalized, Josh informed me that he wished to stay at his home, which his father built. It was actually really nice and huge, and I was living on rent. Having a house was my wish come true. I was ready to move in as well, and even the schooling of Jessie was easier for me. Sasha was excited to accompany me while I was preparing for the wedding. I was happy to receive her help, but since her delivery dates were approaching, I denied her, telling her she needs to rest. We've developed a great bond with each other and had become more than friends, but I still never dared to ask the same question that I've been curious about since our first meeting. Keeping in mind that Sasha was in a delicate situation, even a little emotional stuff could adversely affect her. So, after the wedding, Martha gifted me with her vintage generational jewels that were passed down by her own grandmother as a wedding gift. I was happy to receive them, and that day, I found an opportunity to open up to her and asked her about her emotional reaction to grandchildren and our first meeting. She told me that Josh had a wife who was pregnant, and everybody was really excited to have the first baby in our family. Josh and his ex-wife, Mia, have tried hard to conceive, and there were many complications, but Mia never gave up, so they just waited so long, and when they had it, they tried their best to make it possible. However, on the day of delivery, some complications occurred. Mia had a heart attack during delivery, and the baby was stillborn. Josh went into trauma after this, and it's been really tough for him. Martha just held my hand and said that she really wanted to have a grandchild. I consoled her and said that I would try my best, but Jessie is also her grandchild. She just nodded reluctantly. I felt sorry for what happened with Josh and realized how hard it must have been for him to say that out loud about his experiences, and Martha being problematic had not occurred to me. It was rather hard to see that possibility in the earlier days of my marriage. After 3 months, when Sasha had a baby shower, she was in her last months of pregnancy, and coincidentally the party was thrown on Jessie's birthday. And this excitement over her daughter's pregnancy, Martha came up with lots of gifts, a child crib, soft toys, baby care hampers, and whatnot. I was doubly excited for both Jessie and Sasha. Sasha requested that I celebrate Jessie's birthday at her place, and I bought gifts for Sasha and Jessie. When we reached Sasha's place, she had already planned a small surprise with a separate birthday cake, especially for Jessie's celebration. I was touched by her heartfelt gesture. I had no way to even thank her for the gifts that she bought, and some sour candies for her cravings that she loved the most. We all had a great time together, and I noticed how normal she acts around Sasha, just like she is with Josh. Meanwhile, Martha was quite unbothered when we celebrated her birthday. It seemed like she only turned up for Sasha's baby shower, so she showered her with all the gifts right in front of Jessie. It was quite awkward for everyone except Martha. After the party was over, I heard Sasha getting angry at Martha, whispering in a very, very low tone. And they stopped when they noticed us around. Sasha smiled and gave a gift box to Jessie, telling her that the gift was from her grandma. Martha was not prepared for this, but she agreed. I knew it was a blatant lie, but I just let it be. I realized that she would never love Jessie the way she deserved to, as that is her granddaughter. I could return the favor, but I can't let Sasha down. I know she has to be the one who bought a gift for Jessie in her grandmother's name. Well, ever since, until this time, Martha has never even wished Jessie a happy birthday, but she never mistreated her. She did not have much affection for her, true, but the things were quite neutral between them. I could not understand if there was something to be bothered about. I brought this up to Josh, who says that I'm simply overthinking, so I did let it pass and tried to ensure Jessie did not feel left out. I didn't talk to Sasha about it because she was really busy with her baby. Jessie started spending a lot of time caring for him and asking for her little brother after playing with Sasha's baby. That day, Martha came up siding with Jessie that she also wanted a grandchild. I thought over it, and I could not ignore the fact that Martha had acknowledged Jessie's wish for the first time. I thought of it as a good sign and started planning for it. Gladly, it did not take us long. After gynecological advice and everyone's support, I was pregnant with Cole. Both Jesse and Martha were so excited. Well, things looked too good to be true, but only until then. Martha took over his entire responsibility, so she didn't even let me spend enough time with him. I feel bad, but I let Martha do it because I knew that Cole was her first grandchild in years. So it was obvious that she was going to be so possessive of him. And when Cole grew up, he became more attached to his grandmother than to us. I tried not to be bothered by the things beyond my control, but my patience started giving away when Martha hardly acted like a grandmother and never treated Jessie like her grandchild. Even Jessie started behaving differently. She became much more reserved and apologetic, and her childlike playfulness almost vanished. By then, I didn't know if it was good or bad, but I was pregnant again with Chloe. I was already upset with Martha's attitude towards Jessie, and seeing her behavior after Cole, I didn't want things to get worse for Jessie. So, I told Josh about this and about Martha's attitude towards her. Tired of his same response blaming me for being overprotective, I warned Josh that I would not let Martha take care of my future kid if she kept acting the same way with Jessie. Because I was pregnant, Josh did not argue with me and told Martha about this. I kept things from getting nastier because Martha was affectionate to Cole, and Chloe was her soon-to-be grandchild next. She suppressed her resentment towards Jessie until Chloe was born. But Martha soon flipped back to her old self. Meanwhile, Josh, who loved his mom, was too blind to notice this. I knew that what had happened with Cole now would also happen in the case of Chloe. Even Sasha felt bad for what was happening with Jessie and tried numerous times to compensate for Martha's behavior. It was quite evident when Sasha brought her gifts for every birthday with a name slip of Martha, claiming it was from her. Now, even Jessie understood that it was never Martha but her Aunt Sasha. Cole has now started attending primary school and barely talks to me because of Martha. And when I spoke to Josh about Martha and Jessie, the fight started picking up between us. It seems like Josh has run out of patience because he's tired of me complaining about Martha this, Martha that. We hardly speak or discuss children because every discussion turns into an argument. Every vacation or family time just ends up getting spoiled because of Martha's interference with Cole and Chloe while neglecting Jessie's existence. So, as a result, Jessie was turning quieter day by day. I was protective of her mental state, but there's no point in discussing with Josh. Today, we were supposed to visit the Christmas carnival for Cole this year, but now I'm just here sitting with Jessie because I denied Josh, saying that Jessie has a cold and is already sick. When he insisted on leaving her with Martha, I vehemently denied it, saying that I cannot leave her under Martha's surveillance. And that has led to a full-fledged argument that was enjoyed and fueled by Martha. So, Josh always sides with her, believing that I'm an incapable mom when it comes to his children, while I'm just bothered about my only daughter, Jessie. Update. Hey guys, thanks for reading my original post. I've read your comments, which were really helpful. Some had good suggestions, but it was a little difficult to go with it, like moving out. Well, I would have, but my children would resent my decision, especially Cole. He has already grown attached to Martha and will refuse to stay with us. How can I force my kids to choose either of us? Same with Chloe. I don't want them to separate from their grandmother even though she's not ideal and has discriminating beliefs towards Jessie. And speaking of Josh, he's just too busy to take care of either of them with special treatment. So anyways, I came up here to update you on what really is interesting, and maybe I would not have to shift away from Martha because she's, been acting all different for a few weeks. Or should I say a whole month. I would have updated you already, but it took me some time to ensure that what I saw was real. I've been observing her being more interactive with Jessie. Jessie has now reserved herself, making it difficult for her to break the shell. But Martha is first seen making efforts for Jessie. I doubted her actions in the beginning, but I was wrong. She started taking Jessie's side when Cole turned rude to her. She makes breakfast for all the children, including herself, and Then she takes them out shopping and rides, keeping their preferences all choiced in mind. But recently, Martha did something that you could not imagine. So, whenever Cole or Chloe had their birthdays, Martha would throw a party and buy all the gifts to spoil them. But she never bothered to wish Jessie her special day. So I'm most anxious for her on that day. I always try to plan something to distract her from Martha's usual rude behavior. Most of the time I invite Sasha to celebrate with us because there's no point in hanging around Martha. But now I have to cancel my plans with Sasha because my mother-in-law did something really unexpected. Jessie's birthday is in a week and she has shown me the flight tickets to California for Disneyland. The tickets were for all 3 of my kids. Yeah, Jessie too. And we live in San Diego. It was a 3-hour flight. I was anxious about sending my children away when they were so small. And how will she handle them alone? I mean, not just on the journey, but throughout the entire place? I called Sasha because of my uncertainty about the plans that we already have for Jessie's birthday. Even Sasha seemed surprised, so I shared my concern about sending them away so far. I denied sending Chloe as she would get excited, and it would be difficult for Martha to handle her at this age. Sasha told me that I'm just being worried, which is quite relevant, but, Martha deserves a chance. And we should just appreciate her efforts and respect her decisions. I thought about what she said, guys. So the next morning, Martha surprised Jessie with a birthday cake in advance, which was supposed to be 2 days later. Jessie first time opened up to Martha and Cole, who regarded her as his elder sister and made a card for her. I thanked Martha for her efforts, but knowing it would be difficult to handle kids all by herself, I decided to change her mind and suggest changing the destination to just go to a local adventure park. But she insisted on going there because she had already booked the tickets and the hotel. So then Josh comes up and starts taking Martha's side, convincing me to trust Martha. I'm overly protective of Jessie, and it's high time I should trust Martha with the children. Wow, after all, it was the first time ever that Jessica looked so happy. Well, I cannot spoil her excitement, And so I agreed, but on the condition that Chloe would not go with them. So we packed the luggage for both children. Martha volunteered to help Jessie pack her bags, and I just left the room. When they turned with luggage, I saw Jessie looking quite big. Martha explained that some of her items did not fit in hers, so she transferred them to Jessie's, and Jessie is busy with Cole discussing her plans for the trip. It was time to board the flight yesterday, so the kids left for now. But as a mother, I felt something was off. But I did not mention it because Josh will repeat the same thing about being overprotective. I hope the trip turns out to be well, though. Update. Oh my gosh, guys. I can't wait to tell you everything. I'm having a panic attack right now. I can't think straight, so I came here to share my thoughts and just make my mind clear. So, as I previously told you about my gut feeling, guess what was true? I went to Jessie's room to put her book bag in her cupboard and found them half empty. It was a really strange thing to find out, so I called Martha to ask how Jessie was doing, but her phone did not pick up. I had no option but to wait because it was already late in the night. Since they left, instead of thinking about them, I thought to resume my work until I get a call back from Martha. I picked up Josh's laptop and forgot to save the website, so I had to go to his search history to find where I left off. I found some adoption center websites. Well, I got a little curious, but then I found Jessie's name and birth details already filled out on it. I was shocked to see a place named California Adoption Center. It was still difficult to believe all this, and I ran to Josh to show it to him. Josh also gave the same reaction, but before jumping to any conclusions, he tried to call her first. Martha's call did not pick up again. Anxious, he called the adoption center and he put it on loudspeaker and mentioned Martha and Jessie's name, and to my disappointment, they confirmed and agreed. They told us that Martha would come with her the next day in the evening, and they even told us the time. So Josh thanked them and instantly booked a flight. I hope everything turns out fine. But Josh changed his mind after we landed here and did not confront Martha directly. Instead, we decide to follow her. So Josh followed her to keep a sharp eye on him, and he himself wants to see how far she can actually go. I was glad he would finally get to see the truth through his own eyes, and while packing Josh's luggage, I realized Martha or Jessie carried such huge luggage. Josh is gone right now, and I hope everything turns out to be fine. I don't think I could sleep the entire night, and also I could not believe Martha intended to work on her relationship with Jessie either. Well, I should have listened to my gut feeling. Anyways, guys, I wish you all a good night. I will call and inform Sasha after the evening tomorrow. It's already too late to bother her with something so unpleasant. Josh is already dissatisfied to find out Martha's intention to leave Jessie for adoption. Update. Hey guys, so I hope you guys are doing well. Thankfully, things were taken before they could get worse. Martha and the kids were supposed to visit Disneyland yesterday, right? So Josh texted me that he reached there and avoided confronting Martha because he wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. So he decided to follow her and keep an eye. I'm glad that I got unconditional support from Josh this time when it came to Jessie and standing up against Martha when necessary. Meanwhile, I informed Sasha about the betrayal by Martha for trusting her with Jessie. Sasha was so truly disappointed, and for the first time she did not try to compensate or cover up on behalf of Martha. Instead, she just joined me in confronting her. Sasha came to accompany me. After waiting for the whole day, at midnight the doorbell finally rang. I found Josh carrying Jessie in one arm, fast asleep, and her heavy luggage with his other hand. So I quickly took Jessie from him and tucked her into bed, and when I came back, Josh told me everything. He had straight away gone to the adoption center where Martha was supposed to arrive at the given time. He went to their office and introduced himself as Jessie's father, with a passport. She was supposed to be there within a few hours with her grandmother to give her away for adoption. He promised them a good amount of donation in return for not adopting Jessie, but without telling Martha. They should act normal, as if nothing happened, and let Martha believe that she's given Jessie away to them. He hid himself outside the gate and waited for Martha to show up. So Martha arrived with Jessie as expected, and Josh was heartbroken to see such a ruthless side of his mom. He continued saying that she threatened Jessie to behave herself and slapped her really hard in front of the gates to stop her from protesting. So then they actually go inside, right? And he saw Martha coming out alone. When she left satisfied after doing her deed, he rushed to the center, and they did as promised. Jessie was so scared and had anxiety the entire journey. Finally, she fell asleep as soon as she got relaxed. Josh was so furious while telling me all this, and even Sasha could not keep calm. I sensed that this was the right moment. I tried my best to implant hatred for Martha in their minds. I want Martha to feel the same amount of pain from her separation from her own son and daughter, so I said that Martha's violent outrage at Jessie and her vicious move to send her to an orphanage was beyond acceptable. I went ahead to plant doubt in their mind, asking how could they trust their mom with their kids after this incident. Her influence is dangerous because she's capable of such an inhumane act. I could see both Sasha and Josh considering this. Josh even went to apologize for not trusting me, and I didn't blame him at all because how could a son be skeptical of his mother? He promised that he would not let Martha hurt Jessie any longer, and I believed him. We were all ready to wait for the moment when Martha returns home. We're leaving for home too, now with Jessie. I'll update you guys in a little bit. Updates! Hey guys, a huge thanks to everybody who supported me and is sticking with me till the end. I swear the credit goes to all of you who have invested your time to read my life story when I needed advice the most. So I do owe you an update of what recently has happened. Well, anyways, things are better than I thought they would be. Right now, I'm in my new home that Josh has, actually rented, and Sasha has gone to pick up the kids from school. Jessie's doing great in school. She scored first in her class test, and she has a great bond with Cole and Chloe. Even Cole has turned out to be a very well-behaved child ever since he started living away from Martha. Josh did not have a problem letting Cole meet Martha, but I didn't allow it. You can call me a bad mother for keeping her kids away from their grandmother, but I have no sympathy for an evil woman like her. She very well deserves it after the betrayal. But returning to the point where I left off led us to our happy ending today. We all waited desperately to confront Martha, who turned up with only coal. Yep. Well, and none of us have asked her about Jessie at all. Not even one question. I was waiting for Martha to lose her cool. She starts giving us questionable looks when we refuse to react as she expected us to. She started getting restless, and then she saw Jessie sleeping on the couch behind us. Jessie had woken up, and as soon as she saw Martha, she started to cry. Martha lost her mind and asked, "What is Jessie doing here?" I snapped and said, "Where is she supposed to be?" Martha turned pale, but refused to give in. She held Jessie's arm and started dragging her out of the house, and Josh took her away from her grip. Martha yelled at Josh that she was not his kid, and her home is not a charity inn. She hates her for feeding off of her son's money, thinking of herself as part of her bloodline. Martha also confessed that she has to tolerate this kid, the burden, because of me. She hated her ever since she met her, to be honest with you guys. Well, I will tell you that. I replied that she was lucky that I have not gone to the police for domestic abuse of my child. I told her to stay the heck away from them, especially Jessie. At this point, she gets really furious but laughed, saying that it's her place, so if she was throwing Jessie out, she could throw me along with her. With a smug look on her face, she added, "After all, she got what she wanted, which is her grandbabies." Josh interrupted and declared, along with Jessie, everybody would be out as well. Sasha repeated my words, saying that if she can raise a hand on Jessie to threaten her, then God knows if she's capable of something worse, and even more inhumane than this. So leaving children under Martha's surveillance was as dangerous as leaving Jessie. I'm absolutely furious at her statement. Martha immediately went out of our bedroom and started throwing out our stuff. She said that if an unknown girl is more important than their mother, she's more happy to throw her son and daughter out of their place. With that, she said that she was disowning both Sasha and Josh. Neither of them objected to it or even accepted it. I was glad to have their unconditional support by my side. So we packed our stuff and left our place with Cole and Chloe as well. Martha kept calling us names and slurs, but we did not turn back at her once. It was hard for her to let her grandkids leave, but she was too egotistical to stop it. She might be wondering what happened after that, right? So let me tell you. I blocked Martha's contact number from Josh's mobile phone, so she would never be able to reach out to him. Talking of Sasha, I warned her against letting her child around Martha, as she influenced them very badly. And a few days ago, I got a call from the hospital saying that since they were unable to reach Josh, they thought that they would try me. Martha has been mentally unstable ever since she was separated from Josh and Sasha. She's also missing her kids severely. She cried and requested that the hospital staff let her meet them in person. But I denied it, saying that a woman like Martha is a social misfit and harmful to people around her. I can't afford to risk the lives of my loved babies with this manipulative woman. What she tried to do to my child and me, the same happened with her losing her son and daughter. And now she's just on her own. Anyways, guys, that's going to be the end of it. Thank you for reading, and please let me know what you think about it. Especially Martha.
So this mother-in-law, Martha, she is one of the craziest mother-in-laws that we've seen in quite some time. The fact that she would take an innocent child and try to give them up for adoption, I didn't even know that was possible. I mean, I thought you had to have extensive paperwork and all sorts of proof that this kid is yours. The fact that she just nonchalantly booked a trip to Disney World to give a kid away to adoption just boggles my mind. Imagine you being in this position and you find out your mother-in-law wanted to do something so crazy. I want to know how you would handle it. Personally, I would go insane. Let's drop it down below in the comment section, guys. Thank you for joining me on today's videos, and if you guys want more daily videos, consider subscribing to the channel. Have a great day, I'll see you tomorrow, and of course remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.